I've called this video the worst serial killer ever in fiction, and I'll come to that, but I'm going to look at a few detective mystery shows first, and one thing in particular that really annoys me. So I've been watching Annika on the BBC. The BBC used to be the most respected broadcaster in the world. When I was a kid, we all watched the BBC every day. Now it's just a husk of what it was, self-righteously pressing a very narrow set of political and cultural views. And even when you agree with them, that very quickly gets tiresome. I mean, this patronising smugness of, oh, we know best about everything. It's just so irritating. The BBC's got a funding model that's older than I am. They're still milking worn out formats like Have I Got News for You, which was funny last century, and they're turning out so much tripe. I mean, what's been really good since Detectorists, huh? I mean, some stuff's okay. Would I Lie to You has not been flogged to death yet. Ghosts was good, although the North American remake was much better. I'm struggling now. Anyway, the question is Annika one of those adequate shows that's trying to keep the BBC flame alive? Well, it's a bog standard police procedural. This one is based in Scotland, and they do marine crime, so they mess about in boats. I've spotted two throners, that's people who are in Game of Thrones, and of course Scotland looks lovely. I mean, it does, much of it, although I don't think I'm going to go camping there again, not after last time. But here's the thing, the thing that really annoys me. Every now and then, the lead person, Annika, looks into the camera and talks to the audience. Now, I'm talking to the camera, and that's okay. It's what you do on YouTube. And on the news, the newsreaders talk to the camera. On party political broadcasts and so forth, it's meant to feel like an intimate conversation. Although you can't talk back, which I miss. But anyway. But should you do it in a drama? Well, it's okay in comedy. I mean, like the Wayne's World films. It just becomes another joke. I mean, Wayne even tells someone else off for doing it. Only Garth and I are allowed to talk to the camera. And in Wallace and Gromit, there's those moments when Gromit looks in the camera and makes his brilliant expressions. But in a drama, it strikes me as just lazy writing. A drama should show, not tell. And when Annika starts talking to the camera, what she usually starts to talk about is literature. She goes on about Walter Scott, and then in one episode she's on about George Orwell, and then another one, King Lear. It's almost as though the writer wants to be clever and say, oh look, aren't I intelligent? I've made these clever literary references to my bog standard police show. But if you want to do that, can't you do it in more subtle ways? No? Another bad example of talking to the camera is those terrible Enola Holmes movies. Now, I'm a big fan of Sherlock Holmes. I love the original stories. But, you know, they're not sacred. You can mess around with them and do things. There's been so many great adaptations, all the way back to the excellent Basil Rathbone and Nigel Bruce black and white films. The first of those Robert Downey and Jude Law films was good. The modern day Sherlock series, of course, which started off really well. My favourite, Sherlock Holmes and the Great War, set in 1916, when Holmes and Watson are old and retired, but they're brought out of retirement to help with problems arising in the First World War, available on Amazon. Okay, enough of the product placement. But in Enola Holmes, there's just too much of this talking to the camera. It's silly, self-indulgent, it's just lazy technique. Now, if in a drama you want a character to explain what they're thinking, a standard device is to have them talking to their psychologist. Monk does that, of course. Ridley, a fairly new show on ITV. And in the modern day Sherlock, in the early episodes, Watson's talking to his therapist. So do that, or give them a dumb sidekick that they have to explain everything to. You don't need to do what's called breaking the fourth wall and talk directly to the audience. Now, as well as shoehorning in these clever literary references, Annika's trying to be funny. I mean, Annika's meant to be an amusing person, but she just does these terrible dad jokes. I mean, dad jokes aren't meant to be funny. That's the point. I'm a dad. You tell them to your children to make them groan, to punish them for all the... Sorry, my kids might be watching this. But no, dad jokes aren't... they're not... It doesn't make it an entertaining TV show. So it's a drama that's trying to be heavyweight with these clever literary references, but at the same time trying to be lightweight with unfunny cringe comedy. I mean, is it serious? A literary pastiche? I don't think anybody knows. And then, in the last episode I watched, Annika goes for a short holiday, and on holiday she finds a body. Oh, conveniently, it's a murder victim. And even more conveniently, it's in water, so it comes under the remit of her and her team. I mean, that's just too convenient. It's lazy. I mean, have you ever discovered a murder victim when you've been on holiday? I haven't, and I've been on a holiday to the United States. Sorry, joke. Love you, America. And it's a bit like Poirot, for example. Poirot can't go anywhere without discovering a murder victim. He goes on holiday, there's a murder. He goes to Egypt, there's a murder. He catches a train, there's a murder. Everywhere Poirot goes, there's a murder. What's the only possible conclusion? It's Poirot. He's bumping them off. That's the thing he does. He goes places, kills someone, and cleverly frames someone else for it. So he can not only do his murdering thing, but cleverly frame someone else who probably gets hanged. But anyway, that's my view of things. But at least, Poirot is fun. It's entertaining. Agatha Christie was a great writer. Whoever came up with Annika needs to decide what they're trying to do.